Despite the trying and difficult times within this city, Enmax has still had a very strong and good year for the 2015. We are scheduled to stop at 2 o'clock, and we want to ensure that we will get through all of the formal aspects of the business such that we will allow sufficient time for questions and answers following the formal business and the presentation. I would like to welcome everybody that's joined us here at our district, Downtown District Energy Center facility, and note some safety aspects with respect to those in attendance. This is an operational facility, and please stay here at the bottom level of the building. If for any reason we need to evacuate or otherwise, we do ensure that we practice safety beyond everything else that we do at Enmax. And so in the unlikely event of evacuation or emergency, all attendees would be asked to exit through the same doors in which they came, or at the back, the emergency exits, which you see at the back of this room. Our session today has two parts: our formal annual meeting proceedings, which will happen first with our shareholder, the Calgary City Council, and then following the termination of the meeting, we will receive a presentation from our President and CEO, Gianna Manis, on Enmax's performance and achievements for the year. I would first like to now welcome and introduce City Council members in their capacities as shareholder representatives of Enmax. Present today with us, we're delighted to have Mayor Naheed Nenshi. Maybe I'll go around. Councillor Evan Woolley, Councillor Richard Putmans, Councillor Andre Chabot, Councillor Brian Pincott, Councillor Peter Demong. Brian and Peter are both part of the board, members of council that are on the board of Enmax, and we're delighted for their participation with us, not just here, but in many of the board meetings at Enmax. Councillor Drew Farrell, Councillor Ward Sutherland, Councillor Diane Colley-Urquhart, Councillor Sean Chu, Councillor Jim Stevenson. We're delighted for their continued support and participation with Enmax. I would also like to introduce current members of our board, if they would at least raise their hands. If they want to stand and do a little dance, that's also appropriate in some of these circumstances for us. Neil Camarda. Okay, that's a pretty good wave. Don Lenz. Robert Page. Charles Rugrock. Richard Shaw. And I believe I've caught all of the board members that are here in attendance, the present ones. We've had this year a long-standing member of the board of directors, Jim Hankinson, who is retiring this year from the board. And I want to express our deep appreciation to Jim for his participation, his expertise, his background has been instrumental and very helpful to management and to the board, and for his great service. He chaired most recently the audit committee, has a great background in ensuring that we pay attention to the operations and clearly the financial reporting and disclosure, which is essential to the citizens of Calgary. So we thank him. He's not here with us today, but very appreciative of his participation and support. In 2015, we, as a board, initiated a formal director search process in preparation. We look at our skills gap. We look at those that would be leaving from this board over this year and over the upcoming years, and try to ensure that we have the right expertise available for this board, especially for the conditions and circumstances today. We conducted that search using a search firm, asked for input from everybody of council and others for names as we were looking for them. And I'd like to welcome two new director candidates resulting in this process. These candidates will be put forward to the shareholder today for election at today's board meeting proceedings, those being Elise Reese and Eric Markel. From our management team, I welcome Gianna Manis, President and CEO, whom you will hear from more fully after the formal portion of this meeting. Helen Wesley, Executive Vice President, Finance and CFO. I have to do the wave too. Helen's new with us, and we welcome her this year as our new Chief Financial Officer. David Rend, Executive Vice President, Competitive Energy. Dale McMaster, Executive Vice Presidency, President, Power Delivery. James McKee, Executive Vice President, Technical Services. Robert Hemstock, Executive Vice President, Regulatory, Legal, and Public Policy. They're up and down before I can finish the title, descriptions, actually. Patricia McDonald, Executive Vice President, Chief Human Resource Officer, another new officer to our executive team, and we really have been fortunate to have both Pat and Helen join with us. Just adds a very good strength and complement to our executive team. Lonnie Yen, Senior Vice President, Energy Marketing. Tamara Van Brunt, Vice President, Communications and Engagement. And Diana Stevenson, Chief of Staff and Shareholder Relations. And Trish Miner, Executive of Enmax's Governance Group, is also in attendance and will serve as recording secretary. So thanks for everybody in attendance today. The agenda for today's annual shareholder meeting and presentation from our President and CEO is on the screen. And after we've completed our formal business, we will end our meeting and receive Gianna's presentation. For members of the public in attendance today, we'd ask that you allow for the presentation to be completed from Gianna first, and then we'll open it up for a question and answer period following her remarks. With that, we'll proceed now to the annual shareholder meeting. Following my remarks and those from Mayor Nenshi as shareholder representative, we have 3 items to bring forward for shareholder approval and receipt. As chair, I'd now like to call the formal annual shareholder meeting to order. Members of council, you have before you an agenda in your materials as indicated. There are 3 formal matters of business to be represented today. The first being receipt of Enmax's 2015 financial statements. The second, the election of the board of directors. And third, the appointment of our auditor for 2016. Copies of information supporting each of these recommendations, including draft resolutions prepared in support, was sent to council in advance of today's meeting. For more than 100 years, we have provided Calgarians with safe, reliable electricity, a very proud history of Enmax and certainly through the city of Calgary prior to that. We are proud of the legacy, and it does inspire us to continue to build a bright electricity future for us together as customers, stakeholders, shareholders, the city of Calgary, and surely to all of the citizens of Calgary who own and are the shareholders of this company. At Enmax, we do believe in good governance and work hard to ensure that we are at and provide and follow good governance practices. We are accountable for creating value for our shareholder, and I'm pleased to report that we've provided over $917 million in dividends back to the city since our creation in 1998. We've also entered our 7th consecutive year of publicly disclosing our governance practices. In 2015, the Board of Directors was pleased to see Enmax deliver strong financial and operational performance, as I mentioned, despite the trying economic certainties in our province. But I want to thank and give thanks to the 1,800 employees at Enmax. It doesn't happen without them each and every day at the front lines doing the great work that they do and coming home safely every day from the work in which they provide and the service they give. We're proud of their achievements and their contributions. At Enmax, we have taken a fair amount of time in upholding our relationship with our shareholder representatives as a very critical component of good governance. We try to ensure that there are no surprises, that we're informing them as issues come along, and that we do take time, even as like in this past week where we met with council, where we could discuss more fully the operations, questions that they may have, and ensure that we can have a good dialogue, that Enmax is aligned with the needs of the city's citizens of Calgary as represented by our city council, and very much appreciative of that relationship and for their time and support and effort in being here today and in all the things that we have done in the past. And last, thanks to the citizens of Calgary for your support of Enmax, your support of council as your representatives. None of this would happen without that support. I'd like to now turn some time to Mayor Nenshi for some opening remarks.
Great, thanks very much, Greg. So I'm speaking here today on behalf of our real shareholder, who is, of course, the 1.2 million people who live in Calgary. As you heard from Greg, Enmax has been providing clean, safe, reliable electricity for over 100 years. And this is one of those things which is a ticket to the game. You can't have economic or social development without universal access to electricity. And the work that we do around this table at this organization is tremendously important for that. I've been reflecting on the 5.5 years that I've been in this chair. I think this is my 6th cycle of annual general meetings. And we've been through a lot. We went through governance changes. We went through a transition for both the CEO and the board chair. We went through some very good times, and now we find ourselves in, as with everyone else in Calgary, a difficult point in the economic cycle. But it is particularly relevant for this organization. When we combine the need for better environmental regulation and changes in climate change policy at the federal and provincial orders of government, with sustained low power prices, with just starting to see some drop in demand from industrial customers, we find ourselves in a very challenging business environment. But it's also a time of great opportunity. As you will hear today, Enmax no longer has coal in our permanent generating portfolio, which is a huge, huge change in the way this organization works. We are moving very quickly to a world that looks different than the world today, and that means that billions of dollars of public and private money will need to be invested in order to renew and strengthen the electricity grid in this province, and we will be part of that. But it also means that we have a number of very important business decisions to make, making them on both a financial and environmental set of perspectives. So there's never been a more exciting time to be involved in electricity generation than now. Those of you who know about my various obsessions know that I am absolutely obsessed with the whole idea of access to electricity and how it works and how our systems work, and I will continue to be so obsessed, and asking lots of questions about all of this. But as the sitting as the representative of the shareholder, my colleagues on council and I are taking this responsibility very, very seriously as we think about very, very, very big decisions. You know, we've already built the largest public works project in Calgary's history in the Shepherd Energy Plant. And we will continue to make the investments that are needed to make sure that everyone has clean, safe, reliable electricity every minute of the day, and we will do so in a way that preserves financial and social value for the real shareholder, the citizens of the city. So maybe I'll just stop there, and we'll talk about some more real specific stuff.
Thank you, Mayor Nenshi, for your comments, and my again expression to you and to council for your support. We will now turn our attention to 3 items of shareholder business on today's agenda. The first item requiring shareholder receipt and approval is the 2015 financial statements and financial report. The statements were audited by Deloitte LLP and approved by Enmax Board in March 2016. Before I call for a motion on the resolution set out in your meeting materials, are there any questions? Andre Chabot.
Do I have to, it's on? Okay, thank you. We are maintaining our market share across Alberta. The reduced volumes was strictly in most the economy, a little bit, but also less winter. We saw that at the end of last year. We've also already seen it at the beginning of 2016 as well.
Are there other questions? There being no further questions, may I please have a motion to move the resolution before you? Alderman Stevenson, I mean, Councillor, this alderman bit, I'll still get off that one of these days.
We pretty much learned. Councillor Stevenson, seconded by Councillor DeMong.
Yeah, last year it was brother.
So moved by Councillor Stevenson,
And
seconded by
seconded.
Councillor DeMong.
Councillor DeMong. Mayor Nenshi, may we please call on a preliminary vote?
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please. Opposed? All right, that is carried, so I will cast the shareholder vote in favor of that resolution.
Thank you. We will now move to the next item on the agenda, the election of directors. The board is recommending the re-election of our current directors, with the exception of Jim Hankinson, who is retiring, and two new candidates, Eric Markel and Elise Reese. Our board we are very fortunate to have a very experienced board with a diverse set of skill sets. That's part of our look in governance, to ensure that we have a breadth of skills requisite for the operations and governance of Enmax, and we're very pleased that for today that we can present again for their reappointment. Before I call for a motion on the resolution set out in your meeting materials, are there any questions? There being none, Mayor Nenshi, may we call for a motion for the resolution before you?
Thank you. Can I have someone move that resolution, please? Not you, you're on the list. Councillor Woolley, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Chabot. Any further discussion on that? Very well then, all in favor? Any opposed? That too is carried, and I will cast the shareholder vote in favor of that resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. The next order of business is the appointment of the external auditor. The Enmax Audit Committee and Board reviewed this item earlier this week and are recommending the appointment of Deloitte LLP as auditors of Enmax Corporation. The board is asking for authorization to fix the remuneration of Deloitte for audit work associated with the 2016 fiscal year. Before I call for a motion, are there any questions? If not, then again, Mayor, I'll let you call a preliminary vote.
Very well then, can I have a motion to appoint the auditors, please? Councillor Collier-Cart, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Putmans, thank you. Any discussion on that? On the resolution before you then, all in favor? Any opposed? That too is carried, and I will cast the shareholder vote in favor of that resolution.
Thank you. And, with that, now we've completed the formal part of the business of the annual shareholder meeting. And before we conclude, are there any further questions? There being none, may I ask for a motion for termination of the meeting?
Can I have that motion, please? Councillor Chu, thank you. I see a hand there. Councillor Sutherland, thank you. On that, are we agreed? Any opposed? That too is carried, and I will cast the shareholder vote in favor of that resolution and terminate the formal meeting.
Well, thank you. Now we're going to go to the less exciting part. I know the very business formal part is what everybody looks forward to. But we are delighted to be able to have Gianna Manus as the President and CEO. She's been here a little over 4 years now, has just done an exceptional job in leading this company, brought a great skill set and is building a fabulous team, and has been a great representative and spokesperson for this company. With that, I'll turn the time to her for a more informal discussion of the 2015 year.
Thank you, Greg, and good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure today to share with you a review of Enmax's performance, our operations, and our contributions for 2015. In prior years, I have stood here and I've talked to you about resilience, how our team has been resilient dealing with rapid growth, weather, and fire. In 2015, we saw another form of resilience emerge. For Enmax and for our customers and our neighbors, it's resilience in the face of economic, market, and industry challenges. They are the types of challenges that our province hasn't seen for many decades. So let's reflect on where we as Albertans find ourselves. In 2014, oil was more than $100 a barrel and then fell to a low of $37 a barrel in 2015. While it has recovered a bit, oil price is still expected to stay lower for longer. And in response to this, companies have significantly cut capital spending, which is now down 62% from 2014, the largest two-year decline since 1947. Less spending in an industry so central to Alberta and our economy has impacted and has impacts far beyond specific companies. As 2015 progressed, we started to feel it in the electricity sector. Lower demand, excess electricity supply, and low natural gas prices have all contributed to a decline in electricity prices. The price of electricity on the spot market today is in fact the lowest it's been in 16 years. Beyond the economic downturn, political changes occurred in our province and in our country. Both governments have challenges and choices before them, and for the electricity industry, these governments have come forward with strong policies and goals that will affect our industry, particularly related to climate change. The Alberta government's Climate Leadership Plan, as announced in November 2015, is particularly significant, with plans to phase out coal-fired electricity by 2030, increase emission reduction standards, and put a renewable energy framework in place. Now, while this direction is clear, there is still more work to do on the implementation plan, creating uncertainty for our industry today. Despite weak electricity prices, however, and uncertain market conditions, Enmax's 2015 financial performance was solid. In 2015, our earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, or EBITDA, was $452 million, up from $427 million in 2014. Funds from operations, a critical measure, were $437 million, an increase from $419 million in 2014. Our well-positioned, integrated, competitive portfolio provides us with a strong fleet from which to serve our retail customers across Alberta. Our reliable transmission and distribution business continued to strongly contribute to our financial performance. Our financial results allows us to deliver value to our shareholder. In 2015, we provided a $56 million dividend to the City of Calgary and, by extension, the citizens of Calgary. This is an important contribution as the city dedicates a portion of this dividend toward the Enmax Legacy Park Fund for Calgary Parks development. And at Enmax, when we talk about performance, financial is just one dimension. The safety and health of our team and our communities are critical and continues to be our top priority every day. We also serve our city by investing in reliability, something we know is critical to our customers. In 2015, we invested another $229 million in our Calgary Wires network and system, and we continue to be in the top quartile for reliability across Canada. Our improvements and upgrades have reduced potential outage minutes by over 20% for our customers. In addition, we served our city through our work on the LRT line, most recently through the new Central Library. The completion of our $4 million part of this project contributes to what will no doubt be an architectural highlight in Calgary. In other areas, by working with residential developers and other utilities to increase transparency and streamline the process for new connections, we improved turnaround times for new developments by 37% since 2010. In Calgary and beyond, Enmax is thinking about the future of Alberta's electricity market. We are guided by our long-standing commitment to create a better energy future, one which is cleaner and more efficient. On March 11, 2015, the Shepherd Energy Center became commercially operational. This $1.4 billion facility, jointly owned with Capital Power, is a state-of-the-art gas-fueled power plant right here in Calgary. This 860-megawatt facility is the largest and most efficient power plant in the province. Shepherd was more than 8 years in the making, almost 4 years under construction, and was delivered safely on budget and ahead of schedule. It is a plant built for Alberta by Albertans, with more than 1,000 Albertans involved in the construction. In addition, this plant has unique features that provide environmental benefits. All of the water used by the facility for cooling comes from recycled water from the Bonnybrook Wastewater Treatment Plant. We have been well served by our investments in natural gas power plants and also by our investments in wind generation, which we believe play an important role in electricity generation in Alberta. We continue to rely on electricity from 3 wind farms in southern Alberta, in addition to our gas fleet. But we have taken steps to adjust our generation portfolio in response to changing conditions. In 2015, Enmax made the decision to exercise our right to terminate our Battle River Power Purchase Arrangement, or what we call our PPA. This decision resulted in a one-time $144 million impairment, contributing to a decrease in our net earnings from $184 million in 2014 to $48.7 million in 2015. In addition, we recently also terminated our other coal-fired PPA, Keep Hills, earlier this month. This will result in an impairment of another $51 million that will negatively impact our 2016 earnings. Our investment in gas power plants over the last several years, including Shepherd Energy Center, and the termination of our coal-fired generation supply from power purchase arrangements has changed the fuel sources of our generation portfolio, and it has reduced our overall emissions. In 2013, Enmax's generation portfolio was 68% coal, 22% natural gas, and 10% wind. Today, we have no coal, 87% gas, and 13% wind. And of course, at this very location, you can see firsthand another investment into Enmax and Calgary's energy future, District Energy. This facility was a pioneer investment when we began operations in 2010. The City of Calgary was committed to this heating source, and our mission was to bring this service to buildings in downtown Calgary and the East Village. Today, District Energy has contracts with 14 buildings in Calgary, and we are adding 3 more in 2016. We are also about to commission our first commercial combined heat and power plant, which will supply power and heat to the Village Square Leisure Center. We are broadening the reach of District Energy beyond Calgary. Edmonton City Council recently voted to approve a District Energy Center in their municipality, a project in which Enmax participates. And we're in conversations with other towns and residential developers across Alberta. It got started in Calgary, but it's now growing throughout the rest of the province, and Enmax is involved. At Enmax, customers matter. In fact, Enmax is the largest retailer of electricity in Alberta, and we are proud to be the choice of hundreds of thousands of Albertans across our province. Over the years, we have seen change in our customers' preferences and expectations, and we have responded. Our customers care about where their energy comes from, and they want to better understand and take control of their energy use and costs. That is why Enmax is a pioneer in providing renewable energy choice to our customers. We started our first solar program back in 2009, and today we are the largest rooftop solar panel provider in the province. One example of this in 2015 was the installation of Calgary's largest rooftop solar system. We worked with the city of Calgary to add 600 solar panels across the roof of the Southland Leisure Center. A better energy future means evolving how we make electricity and empowering our customers with information on how they use energy, and even helping them in ways to use less of it. We recently introduced My Energy IQ, a personalized tool that provides reports, tips, and tools for managing energy use. We are the first energy company in Alberta to offer this to customers, and we've received great feedback so far. We demonstrate our commitment to customers in a number of ways, including through our award-winning customer service. In 2015, for the 3rd consecutive year, our Calgary-based customer care center was awarded highest customer satisfaction in the energy industry. We earned world-class certification for first call resolution and achieved a record high 83% customer satisfaction rating. We are proud of these accomplishments because they reflect our mission to serve our customers in ways that matter to them. Service goes beyond customers. At Enmax, we know we have a responsibility to make our communities better. These are tough times in Alberta, and our team in the Customer Care Center see firsthand as they talk to Albertans struggling to afford the basic necessities. We're committed to working through these challenges, and in 2015 alone, we raised $3.8 million, including financial support for our partner organizations in the United Way to help vulnerable Albertans. Most recently, we committed $400,000 to agencies specifically focused
on poverty reduction in Alberta. We work with these agencies to help Albertans manage their energy needs and help alleviate some of their daily challenges. A standout story of Enmax's sense of community comes from some of our team members who were volunteering at the Calgary Drop-In Center. They saw that a shortage of steel-toed boots was impacting people's ability to get back to work, and quickly organized a used boot drive, collecting 129 pairs of boots and raising $20,000 for our partner organizations. And I'm proud to say we continue to add more boots to their supplies. There are more challenging times ahead for Alberta and for the electricity sector. Low prices, policy uncertainty, and economic hardships across our province, including the wildfires in Fort McMurray. Enmax and our employees together have donated almost $60,000 to date to the Red Cross. As these communities work to rebuild, Enmax will be there to support our customers in that area. We have been successful and have become the company that we are today by adapting to changes in the Alberta marketplace and keeping pace with our customers and stakeholders as we build our future together. As we look forward, we are adapting to these challenges while embracing opportunities to serve our customers and communities and to deliver value to our owners, the city, and citizens of Calgary. I would like to recognize the contributions and resilience demonstrated by the Enmax team. It is through their efforts that we continue to achieve success, and it is through their dedication that we generate solid financial results, offer new tools and services to our customers, and contribute to our communities. I would like to thank you for your time today, and we are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Gianna. And with that, we'd like to now open up this portion of the meeting for questions and answers. There are two microphones on either side. If you have a question, if you'd come up to one of them, state your name, and we'd love to hear from you. So with that, we'll open it up.
Councillor Woolley's going to start us off.
Councillor Woolley.
Thanks. I'm really interested in that My Energy IQ piece. Are we starting to see high utilization then? And then as an additional comment, are we starting to see generational shifts in energy consumption? So there's something that we can talk a lot about consumer demand for alternative forms of energy, but are we looking at and tracking that this generational transition in consumption, and what are we seeing? What can we foresee?
So My Energy IQ has been very favorably received by our customers. We launched it back in January. Actually, in December, we started putting it out there in 2015. And a lot of the feedback that we're getting from customers is that it, for the first time, puts information in their hands about their usage. It also provides an opportunity to look at their usage month to month, compare it to prior years, and also to even see it against things like weather and temperature. We know that weather has a big impact on how much energy we use in our homes, for example. So a lot of favorable use. We're continuing to see more and more customers use it every day. One of the things that we're most excited about is that we can see that when customers pull up their report, they then, a large percentage of customers, in fact, we had almost 70% of our customers initially then went from that report and clicked on the tips and the tools and other information to other areas of our website that provided them information on ways that they could save energy. That is an exceptionally high number of people. So what we can see is clearly there is a desire on the part of our customers and people here in Alberta to better understand their use and to see what they can do to better control that. As to generational effects, I don't really have an answer yet on that trend. What we're seeing, though, with My Energy IQ is it's not generational. It is, in fact, all age groups, all customer areas are showing a pretty keen interest in understanding this. So it's something we will continue to monitor. But it's pretty exciting to see that it's not just one group of people that are looking at it. We see the interest across the board, across our entire customer base.
I use 9% less than efficient homes this month. Very
You
proud.
got it. I think you got a smiley face.
I got a smiley face.
You got a smiley
I'm
face.
super happy about it. Yeah, it is true. It's because I'm never home.
Councillor Stevenson?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I know we're moving very quickly to the elimination of the coal-fired plants, but could you speak to the effect of us having the Shepherd plant on stream now, as far as how it affects us going through this time, but also how it affects the province?
So Shepherd being 860 megawatts, that's quite a large additional supply. And I think one of the benefits provincial-wide to having a plant like Shepherd that is reliable, it's cleaner, it's very efficient, allows us as a province to have that reliable, affordable generation for now decades to come. And we're seeing really good, strong operations and positive operations from that plant. So it allows us to make choices as a province that, absent having that plant there, might have been more difficult to make. The same holds for Enmax. Because we now have those megawatts and that supply in our portfolio, when we were faced with the decision of whether or not what to do with our coal plants and whether or not to terminate these PPAs, we had an opportunity to really look at that decision with the benefit of those extra megawatts coming from Shepherd. So it gave us options and opportunity in terms of long-term supply to serve our customers that would have been a bit more challenging had we not had that plant. So we're very pleased with the operation. As I mentioned, the construction came in just tremendously for the size and scale of a project like that to come in ahead of schedule on budget. That benefits us. And we're very pleased with the operation of the facility. It's just past its 1-year birthday. And so it gives us, it's going to give us options and good supply for decades to come.
Councillor Willie, did you have another question? Sorry about that.
I've been intrigued by a lot of conversations I've had lately around the future use of streetlights. And I'm just wondering, we're looking at streetlights as these, in really exciting ways, particularly in terms of transportation, and they act as networks. And I'm just wondering what your guys' take are you guys around the table in terms of some of the innovations that people are using with their streetlights? I know you have a relationship in terms of delivering electricity there, but any comment on that?
As you, well, first of all, I'm actually going to look at James McKee, who is responsible for that. As you may know, Enmax has the contract. You may want to go to the mic there, James, so they can hear you. Enmax has the contract to repair street lights on behalf of the city, and we do that. James is responsible for that part of the organization.
Thanks very much for the question. To your question of are we looking at some of the technology advancements that are happening with streetlights? Yes, we are. We've had a lot of dialogue with companies like GE as far as some of the communications aspects of the streetlights for backhauling data and information from metering, actually even into water metering and things like that, and using the infrastructure that's there for the streetlights to advance technologies for the home and for the electricity grid. So yes, we are at the table, and we're looking forward to seeing how we can work with the city to better leverage that infrastructure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there other questions? Please, just state your name and.
My name is Leo Flamen, and I'm a retired generation engineer. And my question relates to Bonnybrook. It was a project that was proposed back, was to start in 2009, finish in 2011, and I understand it's still in abeyance. Has there been any plans to bring that project back?
One of the things that we have with Bonnybrook that we think is a strong advantage is we do have a fully permitted site to be able to build a plant, and Bonnybrook. The reason we haven't yet moved forward with construction of Bonnybrook is that we want to make sure that any plant that we build and any investment we're building it into the right environment, and that it is the best next investment with regard to generation. And with Bonnybrook, we've had quite a substantial change in our environment. So we continually monitor and ensure that if we have the right conditions in which to proceed with that investment, we certainly will do so. At this stage, there's a lot of uncertainty in our market. Until we see some of that uncertainty and some clarity around some of the government policies related particularly to the Climate Leadership Plan, as well as market conditions like the need for new electricity and the demand and the right pricing environment, until we see more about those, some of those uncertainties, we won't be moving forward as quickly on generation investment. But we know Bonnie Brook is there as a possible opportunity, and we'll wait for the right conditions before we would move forward.
Right. I understand, though, that there was considerable investment made in the project, and that there were 3 large pieces of equipment that used equipment that was brought in from Taiwan. And so I'm wondering, that equipment, is it certified for operation here in Canada?
Oh, you're starting to ask a technical question on me. So I know the short answer is yes. Dave Wren is responsible for that part of our business. Dave, is there anything else to add?
No, Jen, I think you've summarized it. Yes, we have had them certified, so they're available. They're in storage. And whether we use them at Bonnie Brook or we use them at another location, those are all possibilities. The unique feature of Bonnie Brook, it was designed and permitted as a combined cycle. And that heat that would be produced could go into our district heating system. And we continue to evaluate that aspect as well. In addition to that, looking at a more distributed approach by having CHPs maybe in multiple locations rather than just counting on the Bonnie Brook. So all of these are options that allow us then to make decisions as to the next addition to our portfolio. And of course, as Gianna said today, understanding where this market is going is still a little bit uncertain.
Now, it was also designed, I understand, to provide heat to the Canadian Malting Company. Is that still in the plan?
Still in the plan to talk with them. They've also had expressed interest in potentially taking some of the electric output, which they would be what we call behind the fence since we're on their premises. The site can also be utilized for a slightly different configuration, and that's one of the options that we have as well.
And I guess just a final question. Any idea what the carrying costs have been for the project since its inception with the addition of the equipment?
I don't have a number at the tip of my tongue. I can certainly get that. The ongoing costs are relatively low in terms of storage of the equipment. We had secured some local long-term storage at a existing facility, and with some of the vacancy rates when we went out, we got some very favorable rates in that regard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there other questions?
My name's Ed McCulloch. I'm a householder. Can you tell me, can a citizen have their Enmax bill charged to a credit card these days?
You have asked the question that we get asked quite often, and the answer is not yet, but we know it's very important to our customers, and stay tuned because our plans are that later this year, we will be able and be in a position to offer that service. It's very important for us that when we do that, and one of the reasons we've taken some time is to ensure that all of any information that we receive, we take very seriously personal information. And so we will be offering that and make sure that we can do it in a way that people can trust.
Okay, thank you. The other question concerns competition. I am aware that as a householder, I could be having lower electricity rates and also lower natural gas rates. And I haven't heard anything about Enmax trying to deal with the competition. Have you any plans to retain a customer base at Enmax rather than let them disappear to competitors?
Well, I mentioned we take our customers seriously, and we're really proud. We're proud that we've got hundreds of thousands of Albertans who choose to be customers of Enmax, even beyond Calgary. So one of the things that we always do, and we continually do, is look to see what kind of services we offer. Also, what is the price? And just over the last year and a half, 18 months, we have lowered our rates to our customers pretty substantially on that choice. And I think today we are very competitive with the competition that's in the market and continue, not only competitive in price, but we now offer something like My Energy IQ, where we think you get a lot more value for the same price that you might from our competition. So, and also our customer service. And we know that that means something to people. When they have a question, they can call us. We're there to answer it and do so in a way that helps people.
Okay, thank you for your answer, but to be specific, several years ago, my 5-year contract for electricity ended. I was happy to pay 8 cents a kilowatt hour. I realize prices have fallen, and I'm currently being charged more than 4 cents a kilowatt hour plus a transaction fee. Competitors would charge me a bit more than 2 cents, including a transaction fee. There's a big difference there. Also, since the city of Calgary is well represented, if I make that kind of change, the municipal franchise fee will also drop.
So what I would tell you, is it Ed? Is that right? Can I
Ed.
call you Ed?
Yeah.
One of the things that we're always doing, I mean, you've got a contract, you signed it up in the past, but I can tell you there's a couple of people in here at the end of this meeting. We want to keep your business and we value it. So if there's some other services that we offer that might fit you better in your current stage compared to what was in the past, we would be more than happy to talk with you about that.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? There being no further questions, I do want to thank everybody for their participation today at our annual shareholder meeting. And once again, I express appreciation to City Council for your continued support, and especially to all of those on our board, all the 1,800 employees at Enmax, and the 1.2 million Calgarians fundamentally that own this company. Thank you. And with
Thank
that,
you.
we'll call
Thanks,
this to
Greg.
adjourn.
Maybe I can just add my thanks to the same group. The women and men of Enmax make us proud every day of the work they do and the fact that we're able to do in a safe manner and provide electricity every day. So a special thank you to Gianna, to the leadership, and to the 1,800 women and men who work at Enmax every single day for the great work that they do. Thank you all.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.